Okay, let me take you back real fast to about a year ago. I got my Xbox One last year for 3 main reasons: Recore, Scalebound, and Cuphead. Recore ended up being the most meh and okay game of the generation, I find. And we aren't going to talk about Scalebound. Are we, Microsoft? Are we, Phil? So Cuphead was the sole survivor, and it was the only chance to justify my Xbox purchase. Did it? Fuck yeah. Cuphead has been brought to us with its visuals leading the way ever since it was revealed. This was the thing that came to our mind when Cuphead was ever mentioned. The ancient cartoon style came out and smashed us in the face because goddamn did they ever nail it. Every character, every movement feels like it was studied and mimicked to look exactly like the cartoons did decades ago. The enemies are all unique looking. There's no enemies that are copied over to a new level and then change the color palette like every other game we see. The enemies pop right out of the backgrounds, which look like they were taken right from a children's storybook. At the same time, I feel they went overboard with some of it. There were a few fights where the amount of colors on screen were really overwhelming, and it could give a small child a fucking seizure. The audio was something that actually surprised me. These tracks are bumping, like they were ripped from a jazz club in the roaring 20s. There's an absurd amount of quality tracks, and it is as much as an achievement as the visuals are. They complement each other impeccably. There's very minimal voices in the game, but the ones that are there have the grainy sound that fits into the same cartoon style. It's only sprinkled throughout the game at least, because hearing those voices throughout would get really tiring real fast.
Contracts, come on, bring them to the king.
Cuphead plays out pretty much how you think it would. Button to shoot, to jump, dodge, and ultimate ability. Simple, right? It's not a bad thing, of course, just to be expected, and nothing surprised me really about the combat, unfortunately. The controls feel really tight, which is a godsend because they need to be Catholic Virgin tight for a game like this. But I went into the game thinking it was going to be a run and gun. There's 26 levels across 3 worlds, excluding the final boss. Only 6 of them are run and guns. It's not bad, just not what I was expecting. And it feels like they were added after the boss rushes. The boss fights are all unique in this game, which is great. The way you dodge and shoot won't work the same way for the next boss. Some of these bosses are some fucking bullshit though. Not hard, just annoying when it should be difficult. The game isn't as difficult as I was expecting, because some other reviewers were saying that the game relies too much on RNG, which worried me. No, it really doesn't. The only RNG this game has is what attack will the boss use. But every attack has a very clear counter or way to avoid it. These reviewers just suck at the game and trying to find a way to justify them losing. The game is a challenge, but it pushes back. Something I found myself doing a lot is pretty much just one more try, and that one more would become 30. The motivation this game gives you is insane. It creates this urge that makes you want to find out the next boss, and each fight attempt makes me so fucking angry I just needed to kick its ass. Like, for real, you will lose your voice from screaming at this game. I did. It is not free. It does not hold your hand. Every time you lose just a single health, you will eventually get so mad that you lost it, because damn near every error you make is your fault. It is insanely fair. Every jump, every shot you take needs to have precision. 90% of the time I died, I went, what the fuck is wrong with me? Because it was so clear why I got hit or died, and it was so easily avoidable, yet I still died. Something that almost made me rage quit was that there are no checkpoints in this game, and it shows you how far you were to the end when you die. So if you are 2 pixels away from the end, nope. You go all the way back to the start, and you gotta go through hell again. One too many times, and I was about fucking done. But this is how we used to play games. There were no checkpoints. We've been spoiled. So I was able to get over it. But something that I didn't get over was the ending to this game. I was both thrilled that it was over, but at the same time I went, the hell, is this it? I beat the game twice, once on easy and another on regular. The simple difficulty is supposed to pretty much be a preview of the regular, because you cannot progress the game without beating it on regular. But the difference between the 2 settings for some bosses are massive. That extra phase to the boss or that extra attack adds so much to the feel of the fight, but even after facing all the bosses twice, I was left feeling unfulfilled. For some reason, I didn't feel satisfied for beating this game, except for being glad it was over for some reason. The game keeps you going because it's not rehashed from the last boss. but in the end, it feels like I didn't accomplish a whole lot, like I have with other games, because the simplicity of Cuphead doesn't set in until you beat it. Cuphead, while looking and sounding astounding and playing well enough to keep my attention, couldn't help but leave a bad taste in my mouth for how simple it was. The muscle memory that goes into learning this game is enough to make me not want to do the fights again. I'm not sorry I bought it though. For 20 bucks, it's a fantastic deal. It was a fun little game and a good break from the usual games we see nowadays. If they make DLC for it, then I'll be ecstatic to go back to it. But the game we have now is done and over. Cuphead gets a 7 out of 10 for me, at least to justify me buying my Xbox. Even though I did get it on Steam.